Tathastu ICS. I am Manisha Armugam here to discuss the Hindu newspaper for the day 29th January 2026. Good evening everyone. Hi Kavita and good evening Nikhil. Chalo. You will get this PDF in the description box, as well as you can join our Telegram channel by scanning our QR code for the regular updates. Okay. So hope your preparation is going good. Okay. And I hope your health is also doing good. Okay. If there is any doubt, please let me know in the chat box. Okay, we will discuss about it. And if there is any suggestions you want to give, then that is also open to. But keep a constructive language. Okay. Chalo, let's get into the session. Today I have brought 3 different topics today. Okay. There is a unrest in the parliament when our honorable president was conducting the joint sitting. Okay, in her address, during her address in the parliament, there was unrest. At that time, she quoted that the center should be focusing on the whole conduct should be focusing on unity, and the national interest should come first, irrespective of any other ideologies. Okay, so we will be talking about that. So she have quoted. President Murmu have quoted that center working with full sensitivity. So she is giving the idea about there is no biasness, there is no unequal treatments. We are completely working on the sensitivity, full sensitivity. We are not hurting any of the parties. Okay, so that is what her statement is. We will see what it is. See, it is president's statement. If you ask me like how it is important for us, it is basically on the marginalized groups. Okay, the recent debates about the UGC's new rules. Okay, so based on that, this debate have been started. So basically we will be talking about the policy making. Before policy making, what are all the sections that have to be kept in the knowledge. Okay, apart from that, the ideas of the preamble that we have, like unity, the brotherhood. Okay, so acceptance of the diversity and nation comes first. So these kind of ideologies that we generally deal with the polity. Okay, so based on that, it is important for us in a GS2 paper, also in the GS4 paper, because here we are talking about the marginalized, where we have to give more welfare people also. Okay, then the next comes the editorial. India EU FTA. Yesterday we have discussed about the free trade agreement in detail. I hope you got the proper PDF in the Telegram channel. Okay. Then, so here today's this article, they have told about the positives of FTA, the crux of it. Okay. So yesterday we have seen it in a full-fledged manner. Today we will be seeing the author what they have precisely they have given the positives of it. Okay, and the whole framework they have given. Okay, we will be discussing about it. Again, as it is a free trade agreement, we need to focus on 2 things. One is GS2 and also GS3 in the economic terms. Okay, here in GS2 the foreign policy, and apart from that we will be focusing on the policy making in further exports, imports ka the tariffs and the policy making with from these economies we will be focusing on. Then third one is the Department of DOPT have given a data. They have released their annual data where they have told that the Group C work mostly comprised of like 66% workers are comprised of SC, ST candidates and also OBC candidates. Okay, so we will see what is their representation in Group A, Group B, Group C works also, and how come their composition in central government works. Okay, so again it is important for us in our GS2 paper, again GS4 paper, how we are representing and how we have our other every equity distribution of for every categories. Okay, so this is what important for us. These 3 are the topics that we are going to discuss. Okay. Tathastu is bringing you Parthasarathy mentorship program. So if you have already done with your preparation, or if you have basic idea about UPSC preparation, you can avail our Parthasarathy mentorship, where our mentors dedicated to you for your full-fledged preparation with the dedicated schedules and also the proper guidance. Then the GS Foundation course we are going to start from 2nd February. Okay. So, for full-fledged preparation you can approach Tathastu ICS, and also the pre-sure test series for checking your accuracy, those who are appearing for 2026 prelims. And BA plus UPSC program, if you are in the age of 16-17 and you have a huge dream of UPSC, okay, along with your graduation you can pursue UPSC, you can efficiently use your 3 years in a dedicated way for UPSC. Let us come to the first article today. Okay. Here, center working with full sensitivity for all communities. Okay. So, there is a, as I have told you already, there is a unrest in the parliament. Okay. There was a joint sitting that is actually for a special address by the president. Okay. Generally, this special address will be happening whenever a new session is starting, okay, just winter session or monsoon session, just like that. If there is any new session is starting, or else if there is any new session for the year it is happening, just like now it is 2026. So, the first session will be commencing with the special address of president. It is have been mandated in article 87. For these two things there will be a special address by the president. So, in that event I am just giving the background why this article have came in. Okay. So, in that address it is notified that the opposition members are giving 2-3 opposition ideas for the name changement of 𝐔𝐻𝐒𝐳, okay, and apart from that the recent UGC's new rules. Okay. So, there is some ideology differences in the parliament on these two things. So, at that time President Murmu have told us there should be the nation first. Okay. So, the unity of the nation, the national security should be first irrespective of the different ideologies. Okay. So, here as I have told you, the special address at the parliament, the article 87 mandates for that. Okay. So, hope it is visible for you. Okay. So, here we have told that center working with full sensitivity. So, it is actually considering all the marginalized sections also, and apart from that all other sections of the society as well. Okay. And why there is an unrest that we have discussed. Okay. Then the union government she told the union government is committed to the social justice, which is very much important for a GS2 paper. So, this kind of direct statements you can expect from the expect in the mains paper. Okay. So, the union government committed to social justice. So, this kind of questions you can expect. Okay. So, in that way we are going to proceed with the session. Okay. So, here we have to focus. See, this article is about what our president have told. Okay. So, we will be just talking about what are all the keywords that she have pointed out here. Okay. And apart from that, what approach we are going to see the session, see this article for the UPSC preparation. That is what we are going to see. So, when we come to the keywords that here, rise above the political differences and unite on. So, you have to come out of the political differences. Okay. And now you have to come on focusing on the welfare of the society. Okay. So, you should work for the nation, you should work for the welfare of the people. Okay. You should not be right now sticking to a political agenda or political differences or the political ideologies. Okay. It is not about the name of a scheme, it is about the outcome of the scheme, how equitably you are able to give the welfare for the people. Okay. So, that is what is important here, that is President Murmu is telling us. Okay. So, we have to focus on national security, okay, the energy security, the national security, that we have to combinedly we have to focus on. If there is any unrest keep on holding in the parliament, there won't be any rest in the society as well, unless and until you prepare a proper welfare schemes, or unless and until you prepare proper the ideologies, sorry, unless and until you prepare something good for your people, you debate on good for the people, unless and until you do that, there won't be any progress or there won't be any growth in the nation. Okay, so that is what she is talking about, the national security here. Okay, then comes the Vikshit Bharat. So you know we will be developed, the idea of being developed around 2047. Okay, so that is the idea of Vikshit Bharat. So she have mentioned that also, and the Swadeshi. So here Swadeshi, it reflects the idea of self-reliance. Okay, so we had, so how much ever we could, we will be producing indigenous products and we will be having self-sufficiency with our self-made products. Okay, so the Swadeshi, these three are major ideas that we have to focus on rather than focusing on the political differences. Okay, so also she have told that national interest is supreme. See why I have took all these things, because these will directly reflect on your mains paper. Okay, so these kind of statements, they will be giving you kind of statement and they will be asking you to examine. Okay, so what are all the possibilities for this national interest. Okay, so these kind of things will be reflecting in your paper. Okay, so next, here again, policy framed with sensitivity for historically marginalized groups. So we know historically marginalized groups like scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. Okay, so why scheduled caste and scheduled tribes? We know that was the major thing that we go through. Okay, India has beautiful thing of diversity, and apart from that there is certain concerning things also in India that actually are different from other area, the caste system and Varna system. But if we efficiently bring them, okay, if we actually work on them in a positive way, then these bifurcations and these differences also will get eroded, and it will be at one point of time we will be having a inclusive growth and inclusive welfare. Okay, so for that we have to move out of these differences and the social inequalities. Okay, so these kind of ideas you can reflect in your paper as well. So SCs and STs, scheduled tribes and the scheduled caste, so till now there is very less acceptance in the society for these two people. Okay, so for an example, in Tamil Nadu, in very recent days we could able to see in the reserved area of, if the place was reserved for scheduled caste candidates, okay, for the panchayat. So the panchayat head was belonged to scheduled caste, but the other people who were working under her not at all ready to accept her, and they didn't even give her the chair. So she was asked to sit down. Okay, and the procedures of the panchayat was going on like that. So still there is very less acceptance for these people. So the equitable ideologies that recently UGC brought, you know, so all these things are to bring out this social inequalities and this social dislikes against certain communities. So okay, to uproot that they have started all these things. So President Murmu is emphasizing on that only. So irrespective of these, we have to uproot all these social differences and social hates. Instead we have to work upon giving the welfare and the equity welfare to the people who actually needed it. Okay, so that the growth will be very positive and it will be inclusive. Okay, so the historically marginalized groups like SC, STs and OBCs. Okay, so these people are having very less representation and their conditions in the society is bit concerning here. Okay, so she is telling all the welfare schemes or the new updates, the rules are completely based upon this sensitivity also. Okay, so we are concerned about every groups in the society. So that is what she tell that. Okay, here now nothing much with this article. Okay, now we have to focus on what is important for our UPSC. Here article 14, because equality. Okay, equality before law, that we know. Then article 15 and 16 for SC and STs, and DPSP is about the welfare schemes for marginal, the welfare schemes for the society, and apart from the targeted welfare as well. So these are the things that we have to focus on from this article. Then the Viksit Bharat. Here in Viksit Bharat, what is the concern? Economically being strong. Okay, so the recently signed free trade agreement, be it that, or else driving the foreign direct investment, or else the measures and the inflation rates alteration. Okay, so all these for the betterment of our economy and putting forth as a from fourth largest economy to an economy with the highest GDP, okay, and also even more like second largest, third largest, a step heading from the economic perspective. So that is what our Viksit Bharat is talking about, the economically strong. Here socially inclusive, as we have mentioned, socially inclusive. So here they are mentioning about all the groups of the society, be it women, old age, or the reserved categories like scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, OBCs and EWS categories also. So it actually talking about the inclusive social growth of every groups, okay, and also robust institutions. So there should be strong institutions, okay, institutions that actually focus on the growth of the nation and the welfare of the people, okay. The long term national goals. So the energy security, the clean energy, moving towards more stable economy, more stable diplomatic foreign policy. So all these are talking about the long term national goals, okay. So the human capital development, here comes our skilled personals. So the skilled and semi-skilled youths will be developed here, okay. So they will be moving abroad or working within the country with the improved technologies and the improved job opportunities, okay, so that the employment will be justified with the skilled employment, okay. That is a real outcome of the development, the human capital, okay. Okay. Now, so these are the themes that UPSC may use in the question paper. One is social justice, okay, policy making. So whenever there is a policy making, we have to keep in the mind like all the sections of the people, okay, be it the people who are in the favorable conditions, be it people who are underdeveloped, or be it the people who have the like medium opportunities, okay. So the policy making should be having an inclusive concentration. And the educational reforms, so the reservation in the reservation and the education reforms that we are bringing, okay. So earlier it was maculate system, okay, somewhere or the other we are still sticking to that, but otherwise we are moving towards more towards the Indian ideology in the education, okay. So here the reservation will be talking about, okay, the reservation will be taken in the consideration. Apart from that, the syllabus, okay, the syllabus update according to the new trends in the market, whatever the employment opportunities in the market, based on that we will be having these reforms, okay. Then the governance reforms. So whenever there is a change in the opportunity and a change in the growth within the communities, okay. So if you see, there are some people who are earning very good in their jobs, okay, they are from scheduled caste only, okay, their parents, their grandparents would have suffered a lot, but their children right now in a good position, okay. So when we see other side, there will be certain communities like general category people or any other little backward communities, okay. So they will be having even more worse condition, okay. There in India it is persistent, okay. So the major section of these marginalized communities are facing issues. At the same time, if you see other side, other other communities is also facing financial and the social incapabilities, okay. And there are some marginalized section people also who are who are actually in a better place. So in this governance reforms, what we will be doing, we will be actually targeting, we will be first analyzing at what percentage certain community have been moved forward or certain communities facing issues there, okay. So by analyzing it, the governance and the policy making will be the reservation will be altered, so that if the SC candidate is more than this kind of annual income, okay, so they will be moved towards, they will not be appearing for the reservation, instead they will be moving towards any other the general category or something. So the people with the people from OBCs or the general category, even if they are facing any issues economically, so they will be given the concession and the economically weaker section consideration for them in their education, okay, and in the job opportunities, and also in promotions it will be provided. So that is what discussed here in the governance reforms. I hope you are getting it right, okay. So then the Swadeshi. So Swadeshi, here we are talking about the self-reliance, okay, and also the indigenous products that is been made in India, okay, and also the self-sufficiency is also mentioned here, okay. So these are the themes that will be focusing on UPSC, okay. Hello. Next we will move to next article, nothing more than that, okay. So you have a read about it, okay. I am zooming it for you. First I will tell you what and all it have been discussed. Kind of a appreciation, the scene idea, okay. The crux of the FTA have been proposed here, and they have clearly appreciated it, okay. Thank you for the confirmation, okay. So India did well to negotiate a fair deal with the European Union. See, diplomacy is not about signing a free trade agreement, or it is not about just visiting countries, okay. So actual and the true diplomacy that actually brings the outcome when it is positive, when it is strong, when you are putting forth your country's interest, and when you are gaining the opportunities from other countries. So that is where diplomacy plays a huge role, okay. At times you have to keep silent also, that is also a diplomacy. So diplomacy is a vast area where you cannot always say achieving an agreement or achieving a target of that year is not the only the diplomacy, okay. If this have happened a way before long, okay, so that time the US unrest was not at all there, right. So at that time it was very stable. If that have been, if this trade agreement have been signed at that time, we cannot give any guarantee that this will be moving for longer term, okay. So unless and until if there is any ups and downs, we cannot guarantee or we cannot promise for a sustainable any agreements, okay. So even US and we had a lot of agreements, okay, but still the differences in the ideologies are getting nexus, you know. So if US have thought about it, they could have reduced the tariffs, instead they have levied lot of tariffs on us, right. So the diplomacy is not about achieving that agreement, it is about how you present yourself, how you are putting for the nation's interest, and how strong you are keeping your nation's interest, and how you are standing for your nation's interest, okay. So this is what the diplomacy is all about, okay. Sometimes you have to keep silent, sometimes you have to react, sometimes you have to be like proactive. So all these are about diplomacy. So here they have told bravo for our diplomacy in the EU pact, okay. So we will see about it. So the most weighted FTA have been signature, okay. So now it will be in the full-fledged, okay. So it is about Indian negotiators' skill and maturity. Here they have mentioned the maturity. So the long wait, the strategic patience that we had rewarded us with a largest like 99% waiver from the tariffs, right. So even the patience is being playing a major role in this, okay. So it have clearly said that 99% tariffs, we get waivers from EU, okay. The exports that India do to EU will be having 99% of the tariffs will be excluded, okay. And we have given 90%, okay. So we have given the waiver for 90% tariffs, okay. And apart from that, okay, there is a secured sections also. blindly we didn't go on sign a agreement, and blindly we didn't give all the things to, we blindly didn't give any waiver for all the things, keeping the India's interest, keeping the India's secured sections like dairy and agri. Okay. So, these kind of things kept in the consideration. So, this is my pressurized precious area, this is my sensitive area. So, you should not come into this trade. Okay. It is opposite to, it is reciprocal to EU also. EU also have very sensitive areas like be it the meat industry, okay, be it the ethanol industry, sugar industry, rice, poultry. So, these kind of things are sensitive for EU also. So, we did not get into it. So, the decent and a good diplomacy here, the mature diplomacy is here is, these are my sensitive areas, these are I am open to open for the trade. Okay. So, we will go along with the open trade, and we will be keep these sensitive areas reserved for our domestic interest only. So, that is what mentioned here as a, the strategic agricultural sectors and the dairy were excluded from the deal. So, securing the sensitive areas have been mentioned here. Okay. Then also we get a quota based concessions also in our automobiles. Okay. So, what we will be having? We will be having lesser price band. Okay. So, the price band will be going down, and Indians will be able to Indians will be exposure to this European luxury cars. They will be getting the automobile industry from India. Okay. So, it is a win-win situation. That is what they are telling here. Okay. So, protects India's domestic manufacturer at the lower end of the price band. Okay, and also big opportunity for Europe's luxury car makers. So, it is a win-win situation. I give you industry, I give you market, and you give me for affordable prices, that high tech technology at a affordable price. That is what it has been told here. Okay. More. Okay. So, apart from this, it is a huge and a diversified trade agreement. Okay. So, it is about the mobility, the student and also the workforce. Okay. So, talked about the mobility also, it does not stop in only the trade or the economy things, it moved for the further long term goals. Okay. The long term growth related goals we have discussed here. And the defense system, okay, the EU's defense will be very much strategically important for India in the Indian Ocean region to counteract with China. Okay. And in the future days we might expect any other, we cannot give guarantee, we cannot expect only China will be our opposition. Okay. So, there will be some other groups also in future, it may come, hopefully it should not, but if it is coming we should be ready for it. Okay. Then the technology agreements. So, here we have talked about the AI. In future AI technologies will be got from EU. Okay. So, now we are open to 27 countries in the EU. Okay, the European Union have 27 countries, we are open to them. The language, these agreement have been changed. Okay. And one more thing, in CBAM, carbon border adjustment mechanism, there also we have attained a very good thing. Okay. So, we have rejected that, first thing we have rejected the sustainable development whatever they have put forth. Okay. So, it is about moving towards clean energy is way long costlier for India. So, there we took a pause, that is also a maturity handle. And also one more thing, in CBAM we have told them, now we have got the opportunity for steel, cement and certain aluminum, certain things in future terms. Now it is equal for all the countries. Okay. So, EU will be considering India equally to all other countries. Okay, whenever there is a relaxation or whenever there is a changes in CBAM, okay, it will be automatically applied to India. It is not needed, India and EU does not need a separate agreement or separate dialogue for CBAM clarification. Okay. If EU is giving relaxation for any country, be it Iran, be it, for example I am telling you, okay, be it for Iran, be it for Russia, be it for China, for any other countries, if it is giving a relaxation for CBAM, and India automatically claims that also. So there is no need for there is no need for any other changes or any other new agreement there. Okay, so that is the one thing that futuristic and matured approach. Okay, so see, here it is, see, CBAM only 6 products have been given tariffs been applied. Okay, so eventually we will be taking off that also. Now, so that is what important for it. It's a crux. So we will see in detail right now. Kind of a revision for you from yesterday. Okay, so EU removes 99.5% of the Indian exports tariffs. Okay, so India will be not having tariffs for 99.5% of India's exports to EU. And then comes India also removed tariffs for 90% for the EU's exports. So whatever we are the products or whatever the services we are getting from European Union, the tariffs will be not there for the 90%. Okay. Then comes our sensitive sectors being protected mutually. Our dairy and also our cereals have been protected. For them, the meat industry, for them the ethanol industry, sugar, rice industry have been secured here. Okay, the balanced negotiation. So keeping in the consideration, like these are open and these are secured, and also immediately it is not the CBAM immediately it is not open. Okay, phase wise. Okay, phase wise and quota based negotiations are done. So it is a balanced negotiation. So it's a win-win situation here. Okay. So the significance of these factors about the significance of the trade agreement is economically and geopolitically. We do have economically the trade. Okay, we will get technology and also we get market and market of 27 countries, keep that in mind. Okay, and apart from that forex. Okay, so these are the things economically we get. Geopolitically we will be getting defense. There is strategic autonomy also. We don't want to rely upon one block, one particular block. Okay, instead we can go for the global and the multilateralism approach. And also geopolitically we will be having a leadership and a better diplomacy, and we will be proposing us as a better country and better representation in the global stage. Okay, and also reduces over dependence. So we don't want to depend upon only one particular country for certain products or something. Okay, be it market, be it the energy, or be it any other products, we can have a multiple participants instead of depending upon one particular country. Okay, India as trusted economy partner. So this is geopolitically important. Okay, so this may, if see, EU is not a small country or a simple country. Okay, so getting a trade agreement with EU will always a plus point for India, because we would be able to represent more and more in the well-versed manner for the global stage. Okay, so this might give a lot of energy security, this might give a lot of technology for India. Okay, so this is as a trusted economic partner we will be there. Eventually this will be resulting in more of FDI and we will be getting technology. You might think why mamas keep on telling these two things, because right now the India's currency is little bit depreciating. Okay, so for to bring that, and we have a negative FDI also, so bring that back to the normal, we have to work upon these things. Okay. Okay, I have some problem. Anyone clear my doubts? So I will be. Please quote your doubt if it is relevant to the session, and if it is relevant to the topic, we will clear it, not an issue. Okay. Then moving on, as we have discussed, strategic autonomy also is there. So we don't want, we will be going with multilateralism, multi-alignment. Okay, and we will be having a great opportunities in the global forums, okay, in UNFCCC also, and in many UN forums we will be getting good opportunities. Okay, and so the key provisions here: market access, we get market access from 27 countries. Okay, and also sensitive sectors being protected, quota based system in automobiles, okay, and also in wine industry. Okay, these two are in the quota based system. And okay, if it is not related to the session, please keep your doubt for time being. Okay, once the session is ended, okay, we will be taking that, because if we take it in the middle, it might miss out the continuity. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Once it is done, we will be discussing your doubt. Okay, then so CBAM, as we have talked about, taxes on carbon intensity. Okay, so those carbon emission and the greenhouse emission products will be having the taxes, but right now it will be having some concessed taxes like steel. Okay, so Indian steels exporting to EU for the limit of 1.6 million tons will be exempted from these tariffs. Okay, so post that, if it is more than this 1.6, then it will be having the taxes. Okay, then these are the segments. Okay, now coming back to the keywords. Okay, as I have told you, this is a crux of what the agreement is about. Now we will be coming back to keywords. We got a revision also here. We will be talking about the keywords. Strategic autonomy. Okay, here it comes multi alignment. Okay, we don't want to rely upon only one block. The calibrated liberation, so you can say no or you can take your stand, you can put forth your interest also. Okay, then the rules based trade order, so for certain areas, keeping the climate and keeping the environment safe products. Okay, so rules based trades will be taken into it. Again, the climate and the trade nexus. So India majorly exports steel, aluminium, which fertilizers, which is mostly of the carbon content, right? So considering that actually affects the climate through greenhouse gases emission. Okay, here we are getting less trade. So this kind of climate trade nexus can be taken out from in two things. First, there will be a waiver in the tariff, so that slowly gradually we will be getting the market also. The second thing, we will be getting the fund and the technologies for moving towards cleaner energy. So we will be having the market also, and we will be having a clean and environment safe products also. Okay, so that is what here the win-win negotiation that we have talked about. The economic resilience also we have discussed. So these are the keywords that you have to keep in mind for this India EU free trade agreement. Okay, now generally I don't give questions because we generally don't have time to discuss, but this time I wanted to give you this question, okay, a mains based question. You can write it. India's recent trade agreements reflects a shift towards mature and pragmatic economic diplomacy. Examine with reference to India EU FTA. Try this question. Okay, note down this question and try this question. Okay, and we will discuss later. Okay, is there any doubt till now, or shall we move? Okay, I hope it is clear till now. We'll move. Okay, next comes next comes our another article. Here they have stated that 66% of the sanitation workers in the central government from marginalized groups like SC, ST and OBC groups. Okay, the I read till Hindi. Okay, I'll tell you after end of the session. Any rich. Okay. Here it have to the Department of Personnel and Training have given their annual report. Okay. In that it have mentioned 66% of the sanitation workers are from SC, ST and OBC groups. Okay. So there is one more issue here is in this data the economically weaker section data's representation data is missing. They didn't even give it. So the Department of Personnel and Training have 10% of reservation in the jobs, okay, for EWS especially, but there is no data regarding EWS section. So it is kind of a where it is not only about the transparency or accountability, somewhere or the other people are not properly represented. The job opportunities are not either properly communicated, or there is some hindrances or the obstacle for them to appear in the jobs. So we will see what it is. First, this is basically about the data only. Okay. So eventually we will be getting news on this also. If you see here, okay, I think the figures are so visible for everybody. Okay. So in group A, group B, group C. Okay. So in the group A of the central government jobs, almost 14.2% people from SC are working. Okay. And when it comes to ST, 6.54%, where the reservation is almost around 7%. Okay. So there is a good representation here. And also here in OBC it is 19.14%. Okay. So the top high group A services have these representations, and group B having 16.20 representation, and in the ST it is 7.63%, and also OBC it is 21.95%. Excluding the sanitation worker, other group C works has 16.75% representation for SC, okay, and ST people are comprising of 8.94%, and OBC community people are comprising of 27.29%. Okay. So in overall we would be able to see the sanitation workers group C have 66% of these. So in total they are having 66%. Okay. So this has been delivered in this report. So in 32 lakh, nearly 32 lakh employees, around 80 ministries and departments. So in that 66% is about these marginalized sections. We will see what the representation is talking about. Okay. Here the Department of Personnel and Training report, okay, we got that the social category wise representation central government jobs, it have revealed that 66% is about these marginalized sections. Okay. Here in central government, the group C is mostly comprised of these three groups. Okay. In 32.52 lakh employees, okay, around the across the 80 ministries and departments, majorly of group C works of this SC, ST and OBC communities. Okay. So here we have to focus on the reservation issue. Okay. So the reservation, as we have talked about in the first article also, reservation is still a debatable thing in India. Okay. So there are certain people from general category who actually needs the help from the government. Okay, they also have to be included in the welfare schemes also. So some people are thinking that reservation is not necessary right now, everybody is equal. No, it is, India is till now India haven't attended that. Okay? If you see in the grassroots level, still the acceptance for these communities are very less. Okay? It's not, it will take a lot of time. Okay? It is not about only the schemes or the reservation that can change. The reservation and the schemes are a temporary solution. Okay? The temporary solution is like we are just motivating them towards a growth. Okay? So, the actual outcome and the actual differences will be happening when the perspective of people, the perspective of the society, if that changes, then only the real growth and the actual growth will be coming out. So, that if that mindset, if the social differential mindset have been completely changed, okay, from what is persistent now, okay, if that changes, then only we can expect a equitable and more than equitable, equal opportunities will be applicable at that time only. So, unless and until we attain that clear and clarity in this social differences, it is not possible for India to come out of this reservation system. Hopefully, we will be having a targeted welfare schemes, so that if a normal general category people who are facing economical constraint or any other representation constraints, then we will be giving the reservations or the welfare schemes to them. And if there is any updations in the datas from SC/STs, okay, that we have to revise it. So, these kind of things are for a temporary. Once we come out of, once we achieve certain things like the social equal mindset and also the equal opportunities, then it will be easy for us to go through with the equal competition. Okay. So, here talking about the reservation implementation. Okay. So, the government jobs have reservation for marginalized SCs, STs, now recently for OBCs also, right. So, the reservation implementation, despite having the reservation implementation, still we could see people in more of in the group C jobs, okay, rather than a group A or group B jobs. Okay. So, the group A and group B services does have the representation of SC and ST people, but comparatively if you see 100 people are there, okay, if there is 100 people are there, in that 80% is working in the group C jobs only. So, balance 20% only is for is from group A and group B services. So, this have to be changed. So, the reservation implementation have to be more of a target welfare, targeted welfare. And the occupational segregation, here we can see the vertical, here we can see the vertical representation. Okay. So, more of in the ground level, grassroots level. So, the more of in the ground level, okay. Then very less representation in the other sections. So, if it is the pyramid, okay, the grassroots level has lot of representation. Okay. So, when it comes to the next stage, it is very, this much only. So, only this much representation is, and in the stage 1, it is very less representation. That is what we are talking about, the vertical representation. Here, equity versus representation at higher level of governance. So, when it comes to equity, if I can eat 5 idlis, okay, and my friend can eat only 2 idlis, if you give me 5 and if you give him 2, that is equity, okay. And if you give 5 for him and 5 for me, that is not equity, that is equality, okay. So, here what we have to focus is the representation at the higher level is less, okay. The representation in the higher level is very less, the equity is being questioned here, okay. So, despite the reservation system, still we have very less representation in the higher governance like decision making or the authoritative sections, where we have very less representation, what we are here talking about, okay. there should be equity level of representation. Okay, so if we are giving like 10%, then at least 8% should be there in Group A, Group B and Group C also. It should not be like 8% in Group C and 2% in Group A and Group B. It should not be there. Okay, so that is what we are here discussing. So the key issue here is the vertical segregation. Okay, mostly employed in the lower level jobs. Okay, the representation in the higher level governance is very less. Okay, and the that is what the under representation in Group A is very less representation in the higher governances. Okay, and other issue is the data transparency here. Okay, so as we talked about, the representation of EWS, economically weaker section, have not been mentioned anywhere. Okay, so we cannot completely rely upon this, because see, even though it is a reliable report, but if there is no data on certain section, then it have to be revised, it have to be taken into the consideration. So we have 10% reservation for EWS. Okay, but still we didn't get any data for EWS in the Group C workers. Okay. Then the occupational immobility. So the occupational immobility is if somebody is about the promotion here. Okay, so if a worker is working in Group C, okay, in a seniority level or in the by writing the government exams or the departmental exams, they can move to the next level, right? But here it is very less. So the vision is for the equitable social justice. Okay, here it is equitable social justice, but in reality what we are having, higher representation in the lower job levels than the higher governance. Okay, so the reality is about the reality is contradicting with the vision that we have. So we have to focus more on implementation here. Okay, we have to understand what is the actual thing that we have to be provided to these kind of marginal sections, so that they would be able to work in the Group A, Group B and the higher level governance also. Okay. Then coming to the data. Okay, so here data is very much important. So basically on the reservation norms, SC should be having 15%, ST community should be having 7.5, OBC should be having 27 and EWS should be having 10%. So considering this, here we could able to side by side, so it will be okay. So we need 15, we have 15% of reservation. Here if you see in Group C sanitation workers, the representation is 36.75, it is high here, but when you see here Group A and Group B, so it is 14 and 16, somewhere it is okay. Okay, and in ST we have 7.5%. Here in Group C again the increased representation. Here this is what the exact thing that we are talking about. So the higher representation in the lower level and the lesser representation in the higher level. Okay, so the lower representation here in the Group C workings. Okay, OBC is 27. OBC is almost like kind of a stable employment. It will change, because this time census is also taking into the consideration about mostly on the economical factors also is being taken consideration. Okay, so we can expect there will be changes also, okay, through this census, but see again the implementation problem. So we have to see the figures, how far it is. If it is a major figure, then there will be obviously changes. If there is minute or a micro level growth only, then again we have to go with the reservation and go with the ongoing figures. Okay, then so if we see the OBC 27%, here it is somewhat more stable. Okay, in the Group A services almost nearly 20%. Okay, so 19.14%, and Group B it is 21.95%, and also in Group C it is 21.15. So somewhere or the other OBC is having a better representation than SC and STs here. Okay, so there is no data for EWS, there is no column for EWS at all, but we have 10% reservation. So what is this 10% reservation is doing with? Okay, so in this 10% reservation we have to keep one thing, the vacancy is being void. Okay, so there is no people engaging in this work, in these works. Okay, economically weaker section majorly comprised of a general category or a higher category. Okay, said to be higher category. Okay, so these people are maybe not interested in these group C works. Okay, or else there is some hindrances for them. So this we have to identify. Okay, so till now is it clear, the comparison between the reality and the reservation that we have? So if we see the same percentage, okay, the group A, it is very less for SC ST. Okay, so if we see the group C, it is higher representation here. Okay, so now let's talk about the figures. Okay, that this I have already discussed there, but I will tell you in detail again. Okay, now the representation across the group A, here we see the same data only I have represented here also. So the 15%, 7.5% and 21% in round figures. Okay, so in group A we have less, group 2 we have reasonable representation, and also in group C we have high level. Okay, then in ST, group A, group B is kind of lesser comparative to group C. Okay, and OBCs, we are having a stable and a consistent representation in OBC section. Okay, so here comparing two different year set. Okay, so one is 2018 to 19, okay, one is 2018 to 19 and one is 2024 to 25. So if we see, okay, so the SA representation in 2018 in group C is 17.49%, but when it comes to 2024 to 25, the representation have gone to 16. So it clearly visible from 17.5% to 16.8%, it have moved toward downwards. So there is a less representation keep going on. Okay. Then when looking at the ST, we get 8.4% in 2018 to 19, and now we have 8.94. So if you see, there is a slight growth or a slight high representation in the ST groups. Okay, it is very slight. Still, we could see the representation is in a very less improvement. Okay, so in OBC, it is 21% in 2018 and 19, and in 2024 to 25 it is 26. So here we could see the significant increase in the representation. Okay, so that the OBC people are more into the reservation, they are taking the opportunities through reservation. Okay, so here two things we have to work on. One is Indira Saine case. Okay, so here we got the OBC reservation. So through this article we are going to do the homework on this judgment. Okay, Indira Saine case. Okay, and one more thing is about the 𝐍𝐞𝐻𝐿 for the reservation in the promotions in the government jobs. So these two are the cases that is actually important in our important for this article. So these two will be your homework. You have to read these judgments. Okay, so I hope it is clear till now, and if there is any doubt, please let me know. I'll be there to clarify them. Okay, so I hope this session was clear and you would be able to write that answer also. You will get this PDF, okay, and you can start writing that answer. Keep a very structured answer, okay. So, the introduction, the major issue, and the positives and the positives of the trade agreement, and what could be what was the expected outcome from this, okay. And apart from that, you can give the suggestions, the way forward also, okay. So, keep that in mind. Data is very important in your mains paper. And again, for this article, FTA, you have to read PIB, okay. PIB have released the crux of this trade agreement, so you have to read it, okay. So, thank you so much for the session.